Hello. How you doing,
Hi.
Stephanie? How you doing? You all right?
I'm- Yes, you can hear me okay, Ben?
I can hear you fantastically. I did a very elongated hello there, and I was about almost in copyright infringement to yo. So I thought I best stop there before I get sued by Adam
No,
Sackton Patrick.
right.
Can't
Because
be
they
having
probably
that.
would.
They definitely would. They're very litigious.
Hmm.
But
Yes, yes, very.
thank you for joining. Thanks to people in the chat for also being here. I look forward to it. And should we get started by you can just like introduce yourself and we can take it from there? Does that sound okay for you?
Yes,
Love it.
yes. Thank you for inviting me, first of all, and nice to meet you. We've never met before, so
True.
very happy to be here. So I'm Stephanie Bruno. My intro, I don't have it down yet, so who knows where this is going to go. Let's see. So I'm joining you from sunny Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. As you can see, I don't know the last time we saw blue sky or sun, actually. Um, I am one half of the Data Witches with my friend Shannon Lindsay. I think she's here in chat.
Yes. Love
We
it.
have a blog. We like to present together. I'm also a BI architect with a partner of Microsoft, fabric partner called iLink Digital.
Okay.
I've been there for about 7 months. Um, yeah,
Nice.
that's the quick overview.
That's a good quick overview. Efficient, get to the point. Like it very much. I'm curious about data witches because I spoke to Shannon maybe like a year ago. Can't be, it's a while ago. On here.
Okay.
How did
Uh,
data witches start? What was the essence of data witches? Is it because
oh,
is
that's
it like data
fun.
witchcraft, like just kind of doing cool stuff with data or
It is. And that name came right before the pandemic. Shannon and I were presenting at, I forget which event, but it was literally right before, like a week later, lockdown started. And we were presenting a session, I think, on optimizing a Power BI model.
Mm.
And in the session, we demoed the Field Finder, which is a little tool that I created. I have it on the GitHub repo. The
Okay.
tool is there to help you. Your data model can get kind of out of control. You get fields that maybe you don't need, measures that aren't being used. You're trying to
Mm-hmm.
clean it up,
Mm.
but you don't want to take things out because what if you break your reports, right? Because
Yeah.
if you take out something that's being used, your visuals are going to break.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
field finder goes through the report layout finder file and it tells you which fields are being used and where.
Okay.
So that can
Cool.
give you, yeah, yeah. So
That's
that can give
helpful
you
for
a
sure.
quick, it is helpful. I also recently updated it. So now you can analyze multiple files because, in a perfect world, we would have multiple reports using one data set.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
there.
Right. Yeah,
So,
that's the goal,
but back
right?
to your question, which was so anyway, we're demoing it, and someone attending said, "What kind of witchcraft is this?" So that
Nice.
is where we decided, all right, that's what we like to do. We like to do some data witchcraft.
I like that a lot. Makes a lot of sense.
It's the origin story for data
Yeah.
witches.
Yeah. I was sorry, and you got me thinking about something I was working on today. So, like, do you know how there's like loads of little things? I mean, that's unfair to say loads of little things, but some little things when you're working with Power BI, you're like, this is really annoying, and how does it not get mentioned more often? One of
Mhm.
my things, sorry, just so you know, I'm not sure if you can hear my dog is going crazy right now because my wife just got
I
back.
do, but it's not bad, and you'll
Yeah,
hear mine too.
yeah. Do you know when you're looking at your data model in Power BI desktop and you click on the name of a table and it kind of like highlights it so you can see which one it was or which one it is, but it's like the worst form of highlighting ever. Like it's very, very difficult to see. If you have like a very complex data model, for example, you got like 25, 30 tables and you're trying to say, I want to look at this table, but I don't know where it is. I find it really hard to find the individual tables.
Oh, you mean when you're looking at the relationship view and you click
Right,
on the table over in the list of tables,
right.
it doesn't really pop right up.
It kind of gives
Oh,
us this
that is
really like
annoying.
sad little gray outline that is very difficult to see.
Well,
Um,
maybe I have not worked on models with 25 or 30 tables recently because I just don't remember that experience.
yeah, maybe I shouldn't be doing that, but it happens when you're actually looking at these models, and I was like, where is it? Where is it? And I'm like, if you're gonna highlight it properly. Just give it some kind of like. I know I'm a little bit obsessed with orange too much, perhaps, but some kind of like color that we can really see like humans there.
Yeah. Or
Anyway,
maybe you want to use the field finder and really scale back your model.
other field.
There you go.
That would be a good thing as well. Oh my god, too many fields and models. Always good fun. Anyway, that was my first little random thing from what you
Right.
said.
I'm sure we'll have more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love to hear more about the little things that bug us.
And a general rule about this live stream is that if someone agrees with me, I always bring it up because that's how ego like that's how like I need my ego to be stroked like that, you know. If someone agrees, I'm just gonna put it on the screen. Doesn't matter what it's about, it's right there, you know.
Oh,
Um
I love how you can do that. That's great.
I have the power, so so why not? But to be
You
fair,
haven't shared that power with me, have you?
no, but if you let me know in our private chat, I'll bring it on for sure.
No.
Anyway, we have. Do you have dogs as well, by the way? Yeah,
I have one dog. Yeah.
nice.
One dog. He's a beast.
Yeah, what sort of dog is
He's
it?
a beast and he's a mutt. He's a
Mm.
really terrible combination of a Jack Russell Terrier, so yippy,
Yeah, yeah, I
and
get it.
also likes to try to herd the kids and their friends through the house by nipping at their feet. And Australian cattle dog.
Oh wow, nice.
So he's got a lot of energy. Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't realize this when we brought him home. So I know 10 years later, he
Yeah.
hasn't calmed down one single
No,
bit.
no, no, he won't.
Yeah.
Refuse to. I've, downstairs, I have the dachshund and the dachshund. Yeah, the little sausage dog, you know, and
Uh-huh.
who is crazy loud
Short little
and
legs.
short little legs, long body, very excited. And when he gets very excited, can't control his urination, which is just
Oh, that's fun.
yeah, yeah. Which is why if we get home, like my wife was away for a couple of weeks, and when she got home, we had to like let the dog say goodbye. Sorry, say hello to her outside the house, because otherwise it would have
Sure.
just been like an absolute. And this one here, you can see from the corner, is very excited because my wife is home, and he just will not leave me alone. So
Aw.
she
Well, at
won't leave
least
me
you
alone.
know how to manage it. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of, kind of. Anyway, so I'll try and get back to you in the data rather than
Oh,
my dogs.
no, that's fine. The dogs. We can talk about the dogs. Oh, the dog is not called Dax. I don't have a
Dogs.
Dax dog.
No, no. I think
No,
I think Chris Wagner. His dog is called
I
Dax,
think
right?
so.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
My dog is called Fife,
Life.
after Fife Dog from, I think, a tribe called Quest. I
Okay.
think he came with that name. So it took
Okay.
us a while to figure out why he was named that, but I think that's why.
I thought it was like maybe after some the Scottish Fife city or region or
It's
something.
Phife, and
Ah,
I think that's what he called
P
himself.
F. Oh, like whistle in German.
PH,
Pfeifen.
maybe.
There you go. Some
I don't know German. I did study it in college. It's all gone.
yeah,
Oh,
it's like me in French. It's ridiculous.
hmm.
I noticed that
Okay.
it's just if I had to learn any language, I would have to replace like the previous language. I took French for like 6 years in school. Don't speak a word of it, and then because I just don't, because as soon as I start learning German, I had to just replace it all. So it
Uh-huh.
was quite
Right.
embarrassing that way, but that's just the way it goes.
I think in a pinch you would be able to pull
Yeah.
it back out if you needed to, I'm sure.
J'habite à Whitley Bay. It's pretty much all I live in Whitley Bay. That's pretty much all I've got going on. And I don't even live in Whitley Bay anymore. I live in Berlin, so that's not the best thing in the world. What are you gonna do?
I feel like I could ask you plenty of questions, but
Oh yeah,
maybe
no.
that's not what we're here for. Like,
No,
why are you in
it's
Berlin?
I just liked it. I just moved here, you know. I just back
Really?
back in the day where my country was a member of the European Union, I could just move wherever I wanted in Europe, right? I could just I'm gonna go there.
Hmm.
So I went there, or went here, I should say, and I just refused to leave because I quite liked it. Um, but the weird thing is now, if I wanted to live in another European country, I can't because I only have the legal right to live in Germany now because I'm not European anymore, because of Brexit, of course. And then if I want to live in another country, I first have to get a German passport so I can leave Germany. Because if I get a German passport, then I'm European again, and then I can live wherever I want. So to leave
Okay.
Germany, I have to become German. It's really strange.
Um,
It's very
are you planning
confusing.
to do that?
I wouldn't mind at some point. I mean, I've been in Germany like 20 years now, you know?
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Moved here when I was like, I don't know, like probably just before, it was like 2004-ish. I moved here.
Uh-huh.
So we'll see at some point. Not right now, you know, kids and stuff and
Yeah,
school
I
and
know. I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm still in Pittsburgh. And I saw Donald in the chat mentioned Michigan, and that's where I'm originally from. So I continue to just move to gray places. But the plan is once the kids are no longer living here,
Mm.
then I can go to a sunny place.
Well, in the US, you can go and work in like Portugal and stuff now, right? I mean, isn't this thing where people from the US are going to like work remote in Portugal and there's this
I need to look into that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I
That's
haven't
nice.
looked into it because, kids,
Yeah, yeah,
they don't want to go anywhere.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
but
man.
but I will. I will once they're bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Just like when they finish school and when they kind of don't really need us around all the time, then okay, then you can go to university and do your thing, and I'm gonna go somewhere sunny, or in my case, somewhere
Yeah.
cold. I've got to say, but there you go.
Really?
Yeah,
Because you're into the skiing, like Shannon. I saw in the chat you said something about the ski trip looks good.
I saw that. So Shannon said she'd gone skiing, which I find really interesting because I find the concept of skiing interesting, but I've never done it because where I'm from, on like northeast England, no one really goes skiing because there's no snow in the UK. There's a little bit in Scotland. So generally, from my perspective, that it was only the really wealthy people who went skiing because they could afford it. They're going to fly and stay on all these places because it's expensive in the UK because there's no snow. I just like playing with snow. I'm just like a child essentially. I like building snowmen and digging holes and just seeing it all picturesque. I wouldn't mind going cross country skiing. That could be quite cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Oh,
we'll
that
see.
is. We do that a lot around here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. In fact, pandemic, that was kind of what kept us
No way.
kept our sanity. Yeah, yeah. Because I like to take a walk every day, get
Yeah.
out, get away from my computer and take a walk. But
Mm,
where we were, I don't know, we didn't have great trails except for cross country skiing.
that's
So
awesome.
every day at lunchtime, I would put on my cross country skis
Wow.
and go out for an hour. It was
That's
great.
amazing. That must have kept you really fit because I've heard it's quite the exercise.
It is. It is. It's amazing how hot you get doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you would love it. You should definitely give it a try
I would
wherever you're
say
going to
I'd probably say I need it more than I would love it. The exercise would come in handy, don't get me wrong. I mean,
go.
I was pulling my kids home from school on the what's it called? The sled? This
Hmm.
thing, but on the sled, and it's like I don't know, like a 10-minute walk from the school, and I had my daughter and my son both, and I was pulling it back. Oh my god! By the time I got home, I was like, did not need a coat, didn't need gloves or anything. It was just, I was boiling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, fortunately, you probably don't have to pull anybody if you're cross country skiing. You can just take yourself.
that is true. That's a very good point. Yeah, I never considered that.
Yeah. They're right. So it might be very different than your experience of pulling them on the sled.
Yes, fair enough. By the way, what I'm doing now is this: if I make some kind of awkward movement, which I'm doing right now, it's because 2 days after I did that, I fell on the ice like a fool. And do you know when you do something extraordinarily painful, but at the same time you have to recognize that it probably looked really funny? It was one of those moments where I was walking,
Okay.
and then all of a sudden I was just on my back. I remember no time in between. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I was lying on
Yep.
my back. It really hurt. I couldn't breathe because all the air got knocked out of me. And all I could think to myself was two things. I'm holding some paper. There's some paper that I bought for my daughter for her presentation. I can't get wet, so I put it on my body. And also, like, if anyone saw that, they must be like trying not to laugh because they recognize how much it actually hurt. But no one saw, luckily. But oh
You
my
know what? All I heard from that was good dad. That's the message I got from
god.
that, is that you were just focusing on the papers.
Oh my
So
lord, it was ridiculous. Anyway,
excellent dad move there.
oh, thank you very much. I'll take those points. Oh yeah.
Yeah. We all need them
Any,
when we can find them, right?
I'll try my best at some point to bring this back to data and Power BI. I know I ramble and we go on too much. I
Yeah,
know,
that's
right?
all fine,
Isn't it?
right?
We can talk about Christmas and cake and sweets and all that kind of stuff. How about this? To do it in a slightly more natural way, we can talk about your LinkedIn post today about Taylor Swift and Taylor Swift Day. That was pretty cool. I like that.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you. That was super fun.
must have
Um,
been.
I was just having a conversation with my boss right before this about, okay, next year's coming up. How do you see your role changing? What
Mm,
do you enjoy? What don't you enjoy? So I
cool.
was thinking hard about, what have I really enjoyed? And that came out of a work project with a customer who had a very specific need. They said we need a radar chart, and it's got to be small multiples, and
Mm,
and it's got to be in Power BI.
yeah,
And I thought, oh no,
yeah.
because I don't think any of the custom visuals have that, but I'm going to find a way. At first. At first, Shannon said Deneb, and I thought, oh, I'm scared of Deneb. I know everybody loves it,
Yeah.
but I haven't really, gotten there yet. So I did find a sample that
Mm-hmm.
somebody did with that exact use case, and I looked through the code, and my eyes just started
Mm,
crossing, and I was like,
yeah.
okay, that would be great.
Mm,
But I do have my trusty old friend SVG, so let me try it with that. And then
nice.
I thought, okay, I'm sure I can't be the only person with this need, right?
Mm,
So
yeah.
that's what made me do it. And then I needed a data set, a sample data set that had multiple metrics, and boom, Taylor Swift songs popped right up.
Love
So
it.
it worked out perfectly.
It all came
Yeah. And
together
then
perfectly for you.
what's that?
It all came together perfectly. Those moments, everything that you needed was right
Oh,
there. Yeah.
I know because I always find that the hardest part of coming up with something to write about or present is finding a data set. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I have wasted so many hours trying to find a great data set. So that was really nice.
Have you tried to use any sort of GPT or AI program to come up with a data set yet?
Yes.
Because I wonder,
Yes.
could you actually ask it to provide you a Taylor Swift data set? Could it pull that data and compile it for you, or does it not? Could it?
Oh,
I wonder
I
if
bet
you.
it could.
I think it
And I
probably
bet
could.
Shannon's going to write in the chat because she's definitely done this before. She has
Yeah.
definitely
So
created data sets with ChatGPT. Yeah.
yeah, because you're right. That is a complete pain. Is to come.
Hmm.
I at one point. Yes, you can. I at one point used Power Query to just create completely random numbers, but it's not great at it. The randomization of the numbers, it's not great. And at one point they all disappeared because for whatever reason, it started to very just brought me very low values. And also yes, Win Hopkins did this
Right.
and almost 2 days
Awesome.
ago. There you go, all coming together perfectly, so we can do that.
And he
But
even got you to post his note here without having to say, I agree with you, Ben.
also, it's not necessary. It's just more likely to
Oh,
happen. You know what I mean?
okay.
If it's helpful, I'll still do it.
Okay. Now that I understand the
Yeah.
algorithm here. Yeah.
Love this. What was I saying? I can't remember. Yeah, Power Query for a
Power
randomized,
query.
and it was rubbish.
Yeah.
It just didn't work at all. So actually, knowing that, it's not going to make life a lot easier. But yes, having it the Taylor Swift data set was quite good. Are you a Taylor Swift fan in general?
I
I'm
have a
curious.
13-year-old daughter, so it's hard not to be at this point.
I get it. I
Yeah,
get
and
it.
this did score me some points with her, so that's cool. That helps.
I like it. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you hear the songs over and over enough, you know.
Yeah.
In fact, I noticed when I, when I did the LinkedIn post, I never know what to write on a LinkedIn post. So, I
Hmm.
just wrote, Who loves math? Me.
Hmm.
And whatever. The other thing I wrote, me. And then I was like, Isn't that a Taylor Swift song? So I like, yes.
Very
You
impressive.
I forget what the song is, but it has, me in big bold letters. So I was like, did that just like is that subconscious that that's
Yeah.
how I wrote my LinkedIn post? It was not intentional,
Now
but
I'm
I guess
singing.
I must be.
Yeah, I'm singing that song in my head now. I'm trying to suppress any sort of words coming out of my
Oh,
mouth.
you know the song that I'm even
Yeah,
thinking?
yeah,
Like I can't,
yeah.
I can't. Okay, go for it. Sing it. Let's hear it.
I can't sing it. Can I go? Isn't it the one that goes? I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna do it. But just singing with the other guy from that band, and it's like
Yeah.
I'm the only one of me, and you're the only one of you.
Eh,
Oh,
yeah,
I'm the
I
only one
think
of
that's
me.
the one.
Maybe that's the fun of me.
That's the one.
You
Yeah,
get
that's
me,
the one
right?
I was thinking of.
At
Mhm.
first,
Yep.
I thought you were referencing, was it something like "Hi" or "I'm the problem, it's me"?
Oh, that could be too. In
But
fact, I just sang that song to my husband today.
yeah, all right.
We don't have to go into that,
No,
but
no,
why was
no.
I singing that? Yeah.
It's it's one that comes up every now and then. There's a moment where you can just sing it. It's like, yeah, this makes sense. It's
Yep.
for me usually it's when I'm writing DAX and it doesn't work, and I'm like, oh no, I'm the problem.
Mhm.
It's me.
Mm,
It's not DAX.
mhm.
It's me right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes in handy so frequently.
Maybe actually when she wrote that song, she was actually writing DAX.
I
We
mean,
don't
most
know.
likely.
Yeah.
But really, is Dax, am I always the problem with Dax? Or maybe Dax, I don't know.
DAX could be the
Maybe
problem.
Dax has some problems.
It has got some problems for sure. I mean,
It
that's the
does.
thing.
It does.
If DAX is one entity, right? If DAX is one thing, and us as Power BI users, there's thousands of us, millions of us. And if we're having the same problems, technically it has to be DAX as the problem, right? Because
Oh, right. That's the common thread there.
right?
Yeah. It's not us.
Yeah. So if like 10,000 people were saying to me, "Oh, Ben, you have this problem," I'd be like, "No, I don't." I would be like, "People are Benny's so arrogant." Clearly, you do. Everyone's saying this. So I think
I
that's
think Sandeep just agreed with you.
it's
So
yeah,
the
like that.
algorithm
Love it. They
means it's time to put it into, yeah,
definitely
exactly. There we go.
appreciate
It is always Dax. Thank you, Sandeep.
it. Oh look, and now we're getting danger. If Dax gets too hard, just add a calculated column. We're getting into dangerous
Hang
territory now.
on. Hang on.
Should we go down that road? How do you feel about calculated columns? Use them or do you not care? Let's start that
I
conversation.
really we're going to get into a I always want to say confrontational. That's not the right word. I'm blanking, but that's not the word I'm looking for. But no, really, but you're just going to stir up some trouble with that conversation right here.
I like to I like to say I don't so much sit on the fence, but I sit on the fence with my legs on one firmly side of that fence. In that
Okay.
I don't like calculated columns. I think you shouldn't use them, but I think it's ludicrous to say you should never ever use them in the history of anything ever. Like the rule should be don't use them. Like I've created probably like in how many years have we using Power BI? I've probably created like 6 ever.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't like having to
Well,
do so.
I'm firmly on the other side. I just create them all the time as much as possible.
You
Whenever
love
there's an
them. Just
opportunity,
do it.
it's just one calculated column
I like
after
it.
another. Just pile them on.
Let's do it. I
Okay,
like that.
false.
I respect that so much.
That's actually not true. Okay.
I
I do
know.
try to avoid them.
There you see. It's not this. It's not. See, it's not. It's only controversial when you make it like the
That's the word I
thing.
was looking for. Controversial, not confrontational. Thank you.
Okay.
Controversial.
Let's see, we got there in the end together. We made it. I like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
But 1 second, and if people are going to bring this up, auto datetime can't be controversial. You got to switch that off, right? Is that controversial? I thought that was just like a
Oh,
fact. You switch it
you
off.
leave that on all the time too. All 5 coded columns, all auto date time, all the time.
Oh God, I hate it so
Okay.
much. Drives me crazy.
I'm never going to get invited back.
You are.
Okay, no. Also, I turn them off.
There you
Okay.
go. See,
Yeah.
this is
Standard practice.
I like it. People are just gonna throw things at us, and we can just give our controversial or non-controversial opinions to these things.
I
Like,
don't think the auto date time is controversial.
I
I
hope
feel
not,
like we're
because
all in agreement on that, aren't we?
I hope so, because I just stated like fact everywhere. Documentation, I'm like off. Trading's
Yeah.
off.
Off.
So,
Just turn that off.
Anyway, what I wanted to say before, when you were talking about, it's like one big table will do. This,
Troublemaker.
SVGs. You said use SVGs, which I find really interesting because I was using SVGs before, or at least trying to, because I'm not very good at them. And when I first started using Deneb, it was very charticulated or Deneb, which one should you use? And of course, the answer was, it's good that we have both. It doesn't matter what it use, whichever one suits you. And charticulated is all but gone, essentially. And SVGs there now, and people use SVGs, and I can't use them. I try. I just there's something I can't wrap my brain around. I think I'm the sort of person, if I look at something,
Let's not say can't.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Don't put in the effort. Yeah, I don't put in the effort to learn how to do it properly.
Fair.
Yeah,
Fair.
because I have this way my brain works in this way. If I look at something and I don't quite immediately understand the structure of it, I find it really hard to get into it, you know? Whereas with Vega Lite, I just saw it and I was just kind of like, yeah, okay, I get that. That makes sense to me. But with SVG, I
We
get
have
none
different
of that.
style brains.
Yeah,
Sure.
right. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I saw the Deneb and I was like, oh, this is going to take me a long time to figure out.
You might have been looking at Vega rather than Vega Lite, because I think you need to use Vega if you're going to do a spider diagram. And
okay.
Vega's a lot harder, in my opinion.
Okay, good. That makes me feel a little better.
Yeah. I was speaking to David Batchy a few weeks ago, and
he's the one who did that. He's the one who did the sample that I tried to copy that I thought, nope.
Did he find it on Stack Overflow or something? He's like,
he had it on LinkedIn.
Okay,
That's
fair
where
enough.
I found it. Yeah.
Okay. No, he's everywhere. Like he's like the #1 like problem solver for Vega and Vega Lite.
Okay.
So probably on a daily basis, I'm copying something from his like answers on Stack Overflow.
Good
So
to know.
yeah,
Okay. All right. So when I do uh, finally venture into that world, I know where to look.
sorry, and this goes for vaguely light. It does sound like I'm saying vaguely light, especially as I have a tendency to speak quite quickly.
And now
Vaguely
that's
light,
what we'll call it from now on.
vaguely. It's good.
Mm.
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, but there are loads of resources to learn stuff like SVG. I know this. I just,
Yeah.
you know,
And in my post, I tried to make it real clear. So,
yeah,
if you do want to give it a try,
I do.
although it
Yeah,
it was big ugly DAX for the final product, but
yeah,
you can get there with smaller things.
yeah.
Uh,
Fair enough. So yeah.
yeah, I found it really fun because I had to remember geometry for it. Not remember, get a
Oh,
refresher. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because you have to find the XY coordinates of a location on a circle.
True. Right. Okay. I
Right.
understand. That's a
Right. So
lot.
that's where
Yeah.
yeah, you got to use sine and cosine. Remember that stuff?
I can remember absolutely sucking at it in school.
I know. I know. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, and I was even a math major in college and I still didn't
Really?
remember and yep.
That's
hmm
really interesting.
And
I
had to
love
look
that.
that up.
I wonder. I mean, this could be complete coincidence. As I was just thinking before, like an hour ago, I I often have to sit back and laugh at how bad my maths actually is. Like
Same.
eh, maths major, and I'm bad.
Right. And still,
I
and
think
yet
it.
still.
I'll put it in the context of when I say bad maths, is that I sometimes, when I say sometimes, I mean always, of course, have to Google. This is embarrassing. I shouldn't say. I'll probably get fired. Google, because I forget the calculation to work out a percentage total. I forget this stuff. It's so embarrassing because
No.
it's like I have to do it so often, but my brain just can't retain this information. Like, what is wrong with me?
Well, and there are multiple ways. So,
Fair enough.
it's confusing, right? Yeah,
Mm, it is. I like it when people give me like reasons and excuses and outs. Basically, yeah, I'll kill.
I did. And I think you do have valid ones. You're just fine. No shame here.
See, there you go. They've cut it 3 times. Very good. And Anthony's just showing off. You know,
Mhm. I mean,
did
I
it?
did too,
Yeah, it's
right?
true.
So,
It's true. It's true.
yeah.
But you're allowed to show off. You're here. That's what you're here for. Showing off and just
Okay,
like chatting.
super. Oh, really?
It's
Is
all
that the
good.
point? Is showing off?
Showing
Oh,
off,
let's
chatting.
go.
It's whatever you want to use it for. To be honest,
All
it's your
right.
time to just publicize
Well, you
yourself
didn't
and
tell
whatever
me
you want
that.
to do. Right? You could have preferred like a presentation or something.
Oh, I should have prepared something. Everybody loves slides.
Oh, sure. This is I like this point. Everyone likes slides. When you do public speaking or when you do a
Mhm.
presentation, you use slides, right?
Yes,
To an extent.
true. To an extent.
When I do talks, whether it's online, I mean, I've never done one in person to be fair, but when I create slides, I always create the slides for myself, as in just things for me to know what I want to say. And I include the
Mhm.
occasional link. So I'll show some information and I'll have a link in the slide, like a jump point to if it's Deneb, like the documentation or some examples, or just remind myself to go to Power BI desktop or whatever. And then, but all the time they'll say, "Can you please send us a slide so we can share them?"
Right.
And I always feel
And
really
then you don't feel
bad.
like they're that useful, right? Because you're
Yeah.
like, I didn't put everything you need to know in here.
So,
Yeah.
so my question: am I doing slides wrong? Should I like put more information in, or like is there a general expectation that the slides should be good enough that they can be shared and people are like, oh yes, this is a good presentation? I don't get it.
That's a great question, and I'm the wrong person to answer it because I'm terrible at slides. But I love what you said, and I'm going to kind of file that away. And I think to add on to what you just said about, you always think about what you need for your presentation.
Mm,
Maybe we should think about them like, okay, the attendees are going to want a copy of this, and what's going to be useful for them. Maybe that
yeah.
would be a good way to approach it.
Maybe.
No, I'm terrible with them.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I'm fortunate that I generally have a co-presenter, co-data witch buddy who's very good at them. So
Okay.
she generally puts that together and I get to get out of it.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah. So I would say find yourself a co-presenter buddy to do that for you.
Slide person.
That would be my advice. Yeah.
Maybe like a second deck that contained, but then I would never do that. I feel
That's too much work.
I'm too lazy. I wouldn't.
Same.
Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So
Dog.
I just accidentally poked my dog in the eye.
Aw.
She's okay.
I wasn't sure if it was dog or a back spasm.
No, just dog on this occasion. Should slides be self-explanatory? I guess.
I guess that would be
Yeah,
nice,
I
right?
suppose. Yeah, I guess.
Yes, Shannon does all the hard work. That's correct.
But you can stand there and get the glory for both the team, right? I mean, the glory is a shared effort, right?
In fact, this is like a Cyrano situation right here. I've actually got her in my other ear telling me what to say. So you're not even talking to me, you're actually talking to Shannon.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Shannon just said that in your ear as well, just to share it with the
Yeah.
world, it's really
Yeah,
cool.
I didn't even mean to say yeah. Thanks, Shannon. Shut up.
Amazing teamwork. Wow.
Right.
Maybe not even because of the witchcraft, not even with an earpiece, just talking and you kind of meld it between the both of you. That's the next step.
Right. That's next level stuff. Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. We're not here to talk about Shannon. Shannon, go away.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Mhm.
In the nicest possible way, of course, right?
Mhm.
What's your what does your daily work entail with data and what have you? Is it very variable? Like one day doing this thing, the next something completely different? Or?
Yeah, and it's super new for me. I've now had a variety of roles, and this one that I'm in now is something I've never done before, working at a partner, as a
Mm,
consultant. This is all totally new to me.
mm.
But the timing was good because I joined right as Fabric went into public preview. And
Okay.
so a lot of what we're doing is Fabric. And so my day to day is lots and lots of Fabric presentations
Wow.
and demos. Um, I call it the Fabric Pony Show because I just feel like I'm trotting it out every, showing off how beautiful it is
Yeah.
over and over,
Yeah.
which has actually been really fun. I've
Mm,
learned a lot that I think I would not have in the role I was in prior to that because I was more internal. I wasn't
mm.
working with customers. I was just, working on the project I was on.
Understand.
So with this, I've gotten exposure to, everything Fabric,
Mm.
which has been
It's a
pretty
lot.
cool because I come from a Power BI background. So
Mm,
it's a lot to learn. So there's a lot of that. And then, customers get excited about it because it is pretty cool.
mm,
And so then POCs. So then I get the chance to do a
mm.
little bit of getting my hands dirty and getting in there working on the POCs.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's been what I've been doing a lot of at this role, and then just learning all how this works at a partner.
Yeah,
Um,
I like it. Good question, by the way. What's
yeah,
your favorite part of Fabric?
I mean, there's so much. There's so much. It's so great. And I know the first right answer is Copilot. That's what everybody's so excited about. Um, but coming from a Power BI background,
Mm,
not a data engineering background, I'm sure there's tons that a different persona might say about favorite part of Fabric. But I really love Direct Lake mode
yeah,
in Fabric.
yeah,
It's pretty sweet.
yeah.
I really like not having to come up with incremental refresh and custom
Mm,
partitions and any of that stuff anymore so that I can handle refreshes.
yeah,
So Direct Lake is pretty sweet.
yeah,
Well,
it's
and
quite cool.
then beyond that, just being able to do more with the data that lands in the lakehouse with
Mm,
Direct Lake mode. So now I can query it with SQL if I want, or learn Python and have
yeah,
lots of fun with semantic link. That's pretty sweet too. I like that a lot.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that was multiple things.
That was yeah. That's allowed. You can just
Yeah.
your favorite one thing is like five or six things, but that's fair.
Well, I
It
think
is a lot.
it's a lot.
Yeah,
But I think for me, the direct lake mode is like the gateway drug to Fabric.
yeah, makes sense.
So
I can
it
understand
just
that.
lets you kind of, oh, what else can I do?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
like. Is it? I mean, I'm still very much in the Power BI space. Obviously, I've tinkered with fabric a little bit. I've played around with it. I stopped mainly because I've said this a few times, but I will repeat myself, that I found that because it was all new to me, a lot of the things I was doing, I was learning, and fabric when I was trying was public preview. I know it's GA now, but still there are things that are not working 100%. I was never sure if it was me that was making the mistake or there was an issue with the process itself. And when
Uh-huh.
you're learning something from zero, it's really frustrating. Frustrating's the wrong word. It's just probably not the best time to learn something. Because I don't come from,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then this brings us back to T Swift and it's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me, is what I always assume.
See,
So instead of me thinking, oh, this might be a bug or a problem with the product, it's me. I'm
yeah,
the problem,
yeah.
which isn't always true, it turns out, but you
Sometimes
don't know when.
you don't. And that's the hard part. It's like I just
Yeah.
generally, it's like, should I try and do this for another hour? Or should I just say maybe it's a bug in the tool? Or like which blogs do I have to read? And I felt that because, as you said, it is a lot, and everyone knows fabrics a lot. I felt I was having to learn a few skill sets simultaneously, to kind of get all
Yeah,
the
for
stuff right.
sure. Yeah.
So I don't know. There's lots of blog posts about it, like the fabric itself, and also how overwhelming everything is. I just think it's a very, like most things. To be fair, it's a very difficult thing to learn if you don't have to learn it. If you're not in a situation where you have a specific use case. Okay, we're now going to start using fabric, and we need to get everything in whatever one leg, or we have to do this. Unless you need to do that thing, it's hard to actually have the time to sit down and actually use it and do it. Make sense?
Yeah. 100%. And I think that, again, I don't think I would be learning all this if I wasn't in the role that I'm in right now. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty happy about that
Yeah,
because
makes
it's
sense.
forced me to learn a lot about that. And then you were saying blogs. I saw Sandeep here. His blog is one of my favorites
True.
for fabric. So read all that because
Yeah.
I use it all the time. Thank you, Sandeep. You have really taught me a lot.
Yeah, it's very good. Good point. Well called out.
Mhm.
If I had the link, I would share the link right now, but I'm very bad at talking and
I
typing.
think, isn't it Fabric Guru? Is that what it is?
Something like
Fabric,
that.
I can't remember what it is, but just it's the best.
Fabric
We
guru or
can
something.
find it, right?
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
sure. Maybe I just made that up, but anyway, it's
Sandeep
great.
can correct
That's
us.
where you can learn. Yeah, Sandeep, go ahead and correct us. Can't remember. But yeah, I feel the same. I don't think if you're not working on a project, then you're not necessarily going to learn the ins and
mm,
outs of it.
mm, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Fabric.guru. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's the one.
Nice.
Um,
I
yeah.
think, I mean, the thing that I've learned most in the past couple of years was, of course, Dena, because I didn't know it, then I learned it. And for that, it was kind of
Why
easy.
did you learn it?
This is a
Why
good
did you
point,
get into that?
because I tried to remind myself as to why. I mean, I saw a blog post by Kerry Glasgow, obviously, and I found it interesting. I guess, and that's a weird thing actually, because I always say I needed a use case. I think with the visualization side, it was easier because obviously on a daily basis, I'm creating data visuals, right? Like back then, I was building reports very frequently, less so now. And with Power BI, when you're creating visuals or when you're report building, the more you learn it, the more you're hitting these restrictions all the time. And I just wanted to kind of lose those restrictions, and I had an idea of, okay, I want to build this visual, and it was a very basic thing. And I think, as I said before, for me, once I started looking at it, though it was compared to what I know now, of course, and then there's a huge difference. But the basic building blocks kind of just were quite straightforward to me. For Vega Light, I always maintain that the Vega Light is not complex. I mean, it's JSON syntax, which I read often working with APIs and stuff. And I guess I wanted to create more interesting visualizations. I was like, oh, I'll try that. And because I could do it on a daily basis when I was creating a report, I could always try and do bits and pieces. The barrier wasn't difficult because I didn't have to or put 2 hours aside for non-work related stuff, for non-report stuff. So that made it easier. Whereas with Fabric, it would be quite different from what my daily responsibilities are, especially if you work for a company who don't use it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to
Interesting.
decide if I should encourage you to just, get a little F2 capacity and try out directly.
I am. I'm going to, like, for sure, especially because the other thing that I was scared of was the fact that I was terrified of leaving something switched on and getting like a 1,000 euro bill at the end of the month.
Yeah,
Um, but they released this fixed pricing, and it's quite low. Like F2 capacity, like per month, is pretty low. Like, I mean, it's not like
yeah.
it's not cheap. Don't get me wrong, but probably enough where you could justify spending the money on it so you can learn it. You know.
If you accidentally forget to turn it off.
If that's the thing, if I accidentally turn it off, then
Yeah.
I'm scared. But if
Yeah.
I think it was F2, like fixed price was like $140 a month,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is all right.
Right. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not great. You don't
yeah.
love to waste that,
You
but
don't, you
it,
don't.
it, it wouldn't be like, yeah, $10,000 or something.
Exactly. And yeah, if it helps me kind of get into it and learn, I can put the time aside. I'll definitely do it. I think it'll get to the point where you kind of have to, because you're going to be seen as like a bit of an incomplete person in that space unless you don't know the basics of it, you know. Um,
Yeah.
Not there yet for sure, but I think it'll be somewhat expected in maybe a year or so.
I think, oh, Sandy, thank you.
Nice.
That's awesome. Um, yes, yes, I agree. And from everything I've been doing, working on it, I do definitely feel like that's the way to go, just because it opens up a
Mm,
lot more options with Power BI, in my
yeah.
opinion.
And I think I also like you see, like, there are certain things where I look at it and say, yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense for many companies to start using it like sooner rather than later. The one thing that surprised me
Mhm.
was the fact that it came to was on it's generally available now, right? I thought it would
Mhm.
take longer to get the GA. I gotta say, I thought it would be like
Mhm.
maybe mid next year or something, or
I know.
seems quite
Yeah, we
fast.
were all wondering, like, okay, when they're gonna announce it, it's not gonna be all of it, right? Like, maybe they'll just like have a few bits and pieces go GA, but no, it all went GA. I mean, there's still a lot of stuff in
Hmm.
private previews, I think, but
Okay, fair enough. So,
yeah, but I think of the bulk of it's there, and it's pretty cool.
yeah, there's a lot right now. There's a lot to learn, and I have to like. So I was like, calm down. I just feel
I
like
don't feel like it has to be that intimidating. I feel like you can just
okay.
take a lot of what you've done with Power BI
Hmm,
and try it out with Fabric, and then you'll get some fun aha moments of, ooh, I
hmm,
can do this now, which I couldn't do before. That's
it's
pretty
true.
cool.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't have to be, the whole shebang. You don't have
Okay.
to like get into the real-time analytics and
Yeah,
you don't
it's
have to do
true.
any of that to be
Yeah,
able to get the benefits
like
from
bite-sized.
Fabric. Now I feel like I'm a
Says
salesperson for Fabric. What
you're
am I
doing a
doing?
fantastic job, though. You really
Excellent.
are.
If I can convince you to just give it a try, Data Flows Gen 2, those are pretty cool too. You know what I like about that?
Tell me.
You can append. You don't have to just overwrite. So, like
Okay.
it, right? So that's
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
pretty
cool.
good. That's
So
pretty
if you're
good.
just all you're doing is adding data and you don't need to
Hmm.
update old data,
Hmm.
then there's a super simple interface for that with the Data
Nice.
Flow Gen 2.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Very
Right.
cool.
So I'm just dropping in a few little nuggets
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
for you to enjoy.
To be honest, right now, what I've gone on like at work, I'm just moving stuff from Pro to PPU. So this is what is currently my
Yeah.
my thing. And I honestly, this is what I find bizarre is that as long as I work with Power BI, I've never worked with a company who's used premium on any capacity whatsoever. I've always been only working with Pro. You know,
Only pro,
even when I
not even
work for
PPU.
no, no, I've had a
Oh.
PPU license. I have my own PPU license because I want to test it, see what you could do, and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But even when I worked for like a company called BASF years ago, and they're a huge company, but they were when I was working with them, only working with Pro as well, which was bizarre to me. Last company, only Pro. And
Wow.
this is the first company where I've seen it's the size, and I looked at it and said, you know what, it should be at least PPU. Because my
At
plan
least
was
PPU.
my plan was to suggest that they use premium, but they compromised with PPU. I was like, I'll take it. This is fine. I'll take it.
Okay, I mean, you might have to add the FSQs into your rotation here because so I also did this I did the Power BI pricing calculator. That's another little tool that I made. And I'm in the process of updating it for Fabulator. Fabulator. Oh my gosh, I like that name though. This is the Fabulator.
That's very
So
good.
okay, that's mine. Anybody here? Fabulator's mine. Um, so I'm starting to wonder, like, what is the future of PPU? Because I think there's going to be far fewer cases where it makes sense to get PPU.
Yeah.
Because you know how, like, the number, I forget what the exact number is when you should switch over from Pro to Premium or PPU, the number of licenses,
Yeah. Yeah.
But now the FSQs, they really complicate it even more because it's a much lower number of
True.
PPU licenses that you would need to have it make sense.
Boah.
But don't worry,
We're
they will
getting
all be in the Fabulator.
the Fabulator. Once we get into Power BI or just general Microsoft licensing levels, it all gets so complex for me. It's like, what? So this is why we again need the Fabulator, I suppose.
Exacculator.
Exactly.
The Fabulator.
I'm quite sure that a few years ago, if you went on the Microsoft website, there was actually a way where you would ask you questions like how many people you had, and it would bring you a price. But then it just got replaced with let us know and we'll contact you for a pricing solution or something. And I hate that
I don't
so
remember
much.
ever seeing that.
Yeah,
So
I
it must
definitely
have been
used
a
it.
magic.
I
Or you
definitely
dreamed
used
it.
it. Oh, I dreamed that was also a possibility as well. Yeah. Look, we have more support for the Fabulator, by the way. I like it.
Yes,
Very cool.
that's it. Fabulator. Keep me to shore.
The thing with also this when you get on a website or any tools like I think Tableau was the frustrating example. I think also ClickDo as well. Like I was like, I'm gonna just have a look at Tableau and maybe I could just like buy a license or something, or what a Click do the same, so I can like learn how to use it. But it really frustrates me when you go to these websites and they're like, let us know your information and we'll contact you for a quote. I'm like, no, I don't want that. I just want to download it and use
No.
it and give you money. That's fine for me. And I remember I kind of fill in the form and I was like, whatever. And then about a month later, I got a call from someone I'm talking about Tableau, and it was such a sales pitch. It was like, tell us about your company and what you're requiring. I was like, no, I just want it for myself.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah. And I got
just
really
want to try
frustrated.
it.
I was like, I had to say at the end, and towards the end, I had to stop the call and say, look, I'm not going to buy it. No one from my company is going to buy it. I'm sorry, but I just want it for myself. And I don't understand why companies still do that. This like barrier to give them some of your money.
Yeah,
Very
and to
strange.
get your name on the list to keep
Yeah.
calling you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, totally agreed. If I can't just click something and have it, I'm
Yeah.
probably not going to do it. In fact, that reminds me, and Anthony's message here about nonprofits. I think that's how I got into Power BI in the first place, which was that I was working at a nonprofit. I was doing all SSRS development.
Okay.
And I wanted a better tool for visualization. I remember looking into Click at the time, and it seemed expensive. It seemed like a pain to try to get a license, and it was nonprofit, so I had to do everything like on the super cheap. And that's when Power BI came into preview.
Yeah.
Remember, it was free for like ever. Like you could get a pro license for trial. I mean, it felt like it was forever.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, this works for my nonprofit budget of $0. I'm on board. And I think that's how I started using Power BI. It was actually
Makes sense.
because they made the trial experience so easy. But then I also remember when they announced, okay, these pro licenses are not free anymore. And then I had a panic attack, and then I had to quit my job because I didn't. No, just kidding. I didn't quit. I did figure it out. We did get the nonprofit pricing, and it worked out.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm pleased it worked out in the end. For sure. But no, it must make sense. I want to use it. It's there. But also, even without the licensing for Power BI, you can just get desktop and play with it for free.
Right. They made it easy. It's great.
Yeah,
That's why we're all using it.
Yeah.
That's why it's in the top right of the Gartner Magic Quadrant.
I love it. Right. I love the Gartner Magic Quadrant so much because a lot of what we talk about with data visualization is to ensure that you understand what you're looking at. Like the
Mhm.
Garden, but
Mhm.
99% of people who look at the Garden Magic Quadrant and share it and say, "Oh, we're up there again," have no idea what's behind it. Like you have to read quite a lot of
Oh,
information to understand why it's there. You know what I'm saying? It has these
right,
axes, but
they're
like, what are you actually measuring? Like, how are you arriving at these numbers?
mhm,
Like,
and nobody's gonna actually read all that, right?
no,
Short
no,
attention span.
yeah.
Mm-mm. TLDR.
Put it in a TikTok.
Put it in a TikTok. The Gartner Magic TikTok? I don't
Yeah,
know. Yeah,
yeah.
something like that, and then
Take a
we'll
look at
get
it,
it.
and then we'll get
Mhm.
to it. Definitely,
Then my kids will show me it
they'll
because
they'll
they'll find it before I will.
they'll dance to
Mhm.
it or something.
Mhm.
I'm gonna stop commenting. I'm gonna show my age, but how little I know about TikTok.
Same, same. No, no, but my kids are on it.
I did see something though today that made me want to actually watch TikTok for the first time ever. I saw, I probably saw on Instagram, is where I see most of TikTok is Instagram or Twitter. Actually, it was Twitter. It's these two guys, and they get bottles of whiskey and other liquor and stuff. They're empty bottles, and they fight them. They tie them to string, and they release them to see which bottle smashes the other bottle, and which is the strongest bottle. And it is ridiculously enjoyable to watch because they commentate on it and stuff. It's ludicrous,
Really?
and I'm like,
Oh.
that's good content. I'll watch that, but nothing else.
Mm. And now you can make content. And then you can sing because you like to sing Taylor Swift songs.
I
So you can have that be your
abs-
TikTok.
you know me so well, me
Hmm. Hmm.
singing, yeah.
You
Trust
have to
me,
bring it back all together.
yeah, for sure. And also, again, back to Taylor Swift, because everything comes back to Tay Tay, right?
As it should.
I
As it
promise
should.
I promise to never say Tay Tay again, right? I'm definitely, it doesn't sound right coming out
Oh,
of
you
my mouth.
definitely will. You
Yeah,
you certainly will say it
yeah.
again, I'm sure. Hopefully in the next 5 minutes.
Probably, actually, yeah.
That's my goal. I gotta get you to say
Yeah.
Tay Tay again.
With the thing about music and stuff, you mentioned like your kids listen to Taylor Swift. What I find really funny is when my kids would be like listen to some song that was really popular in the 90s or the 80s, and on the radio, and I'll start singing it, and they're like, "Oh, how do you know this song?" I'm like, "I don't know this song." It's like
Right?
yeah, like how is it
I
possible that
know.
you know this music? It's like as I was singing it when I was
Yeah.
very, very drunk in pubs when I was 19 years old. That's
Oh,
why. Yeah,
what was the movie Dazed and Confused? Did you watch that?
it
Not
rings a
ringing a
bell.
bell.
It rings a bell, but I don't think I've seen it.
It was like a Matthew McConaughey movie. They made it in the 90s. It was set in the 70s. So there were a lot of bell
Okay.
bottoms. And then somebody just posted, I just saw something on one of those
Hmm.
Twitter or whatever, a picture of that. And somebody said, if this were made today, it would be a movie about like set in 2010 or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And that was shocking because I do
It is
remember watching
shocking.
that movie and it
It's
did make me feel 1,000.
yeah. Do you know? And it's also I think there's a similar thing. Like if Back to the Future was set now, Marty McFly would go back to like 1999 or something like that. You know?
Yes,
I'm
right? It's
like
the
don't
same
tell me that.
thing.
That's upsetting.
Uh-uh.
I don't need to know
It's
this
very
information.
upsetting. Yeah. I was just thinking the same word as you said upsetting. Agreed.
Yeah.
I
It's
agree. Can you put that in? No, I didn't write
I'm
it.
gonna
I said it.
I'll,
So,
I'll make a YouTube short out of it because there you go. You agreed.
okay. Uh, I did. I did. I should get some credit for that.
You definitely should, for sure, yeah. But yeah, one of the what are you gonna do? It's just one of those things where kids just make you feel like. Oh, it's also when you sound like your parent as well. When you remember your parents,
Yeah.
there are weird things like so. There are things that people say that I never understand. Like when my wife or anyone asks or says, "What's the weather like outside?" I'm like, "Why do you say outside? Like obviously the weather can only be outside. Like people always say, what's the weather like outside?" Well, it's
Redundant.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Why do you ask that?
if you go to like see where you can watch a certain film on a stream, if you type into Google, where can I stream this film? It'll always say stream online. I'm like, where else am I going to stream the film? Or even
Right.
and like I'll check it online. Like, where are you going to go to the library? I'm not going to check it online. Just these
Hmm.
redundancies in words. There's a
That's
redundancy in like the sentence that I say to my kids, and like if they're really pissing me off, and I've got to like tell them over and over again, And I'll say to them, look, and say, I'm not going to tell you again. I mean, clearly I am. It's complete
Clearly
crap.
I am.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. And I really hate it when I hear an empty threat come out of my mouth too.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it's.
I'm going to take your phone away for a week. Wait, do I really want to do that?
It's like I need that to have as much as, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Um,
also terrible.
yeah,
Oh, parenting. Yeah. It's rough.
yeah, good fun. Yeah.
Oh, there's a question.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Any conferences coming up for you? That's for
So
you.
for I don't know. Actually, I don't have anything planned right now. There's the big fabric conference coming up in March in Vegas, which I would very much like to go to. I planned to go, but then I discovered it's the same week as my kids' spring break. So now I have to
So now you're
decide.
definitely going to go.
Well, no, I'm like, do I take my kids to Vegas for their spring break? That was not on the family bucket list of trips. So torn on that one.
I've never
Yeah. How about
understood.
you?
Is Vegas terrible or fantastic? I've never, because when people from the US, they all kind of seem like it's both. Like it's an amazing place, which is also terrible.
I think it is both. I think that
Okay.
is true. I
Okay.
think it depends. It depends.
Yeah.
Drink. No.
Exactly.
I think it's both. And I think
No.
you can leave Vegas and see some beautiful nature things.
Okay.
So that would probably be on my list of, not just being on the strip and being surrounded by puke on the ground and stuff
Oh,
like that would be ideal. Yeah.
fair enough. Sounds great.
Um,
So
yeah. So I'm unclear on whether I'll do that.
there's a
Um,
good bookstore and atomic bomb testing museum. This is Vegas, I
okay.
suppose. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Cool. So I think there's probably a lot of great things. My idea of hell also popped up. So again, I think it's a both. It's
Okay, it's a both, right? That's
both.
good to know.
And yeah.
I've
Yeah.
only, I've only ever been to one place in the US, so I have little.
Oh,
Yeah, I've been once.
where was that?
I was in Miami.
Oh,
Yeah,
good
yeah,
choice.
yeah. It was my friend's birthday. It wasn't really like my thing, to be honest. It's like it was very like people like posing on the beach and stuff, and I'm like, I want to make a sandcastle.
And and
Um,
you want to be cold. You want to go in the snow.
Basically, yeah, it was about actually
Yeah.
my friend, she was working in a place north of Miami called like Jupiter Island or something. There's this like really exclusive golf resort, like all these rich people go, and she was working as like an intern there. So I went to stay with her there with like a couple of friends, and then for her birthday we drove down to Miami, and yeah, it was just it was what it was.
Not your thing. Hopefully, yeah. Let's see. I think somebody said you should come. Yeah, Sandeep said you should come to the fabric conference.
I would
Yeah, since you
love
love fabric so much.
I would love to go to the Fabric conference. It would be amazing. I think it's not on the cards, unfortunately. But I'm going to a Fabric conference in February in Oslo,
Oh,
in
you
Norway.
are. Oh,
Yeah,
I heard about that one. That'd be great.
I'm actually really amused by the situation because I thought to myself, like, I wanted to. I did my first ever in-person talk like a month ago in Palma, and it was,
Really?
yeah, it was because everything I've done has always been online and stuff. So I went to, that was really cool. But I submitted something to Fabric February, and what I actually submitted was essentially this, what we're doing right now. I thought it could be really fun to do like a live, like in-person version, like just, and I called it
Yeah,
Connect Live, even more live. It was just this really silly idea, and I got accepted. And I was like, that's
that's
brilliant
awesome.
and really good fun. So I'll be going to do something similar with Mike Carlo, by the way. Me and Mike Carlo will be doing
Okay. I just
Connect.
talked to him yesterday and he told me he was going. So now I've put it together.
Makes sense. Yeah,
Now I get it.
it should
Very
be
cool.
very good fun. But the brilliant thing about this is I get to go to this conference and enjoy all these amazing talks and learn about fabric, and I have to prepare essentially nothing because
Great.
there's no
You don't need a slide
slides.
deck for that.
It's
Awesome.
it's all informal. It's all completely spontaneous, and it's just going to be me and Mike sitting there in front of a bunch of people having a conversation, and we're going to come up with some cool ideas to make it different. And I bet to have it in person and stuff. So, yeah, this is my next conference probably in February.
That sounds like fun.
So come
So,
to
how about
February.
bits? Are you going to bits?
maybe I'm gonna. So I've been to two in-person conferences ever. I went to one in Denmark like last year. I went to the one I presented this year. This year I really wanted to go to more, but I didn't get the chance to do so because I changed job and other stuff came up, family stuff, so I couldn't. But next year I want to, and I'm gonna try to go to like maybe like 4 or 5 conferences. So I'll have to see which ones and the timing. Sequel Bits would be cool. It's a big one. It looks really good fun. It would be really cool to go to the one in Vegas though, because it's Vegas, and it would just be nice
Yeah.
to sit on an airplane for a long time and sleep, basically.
Yes,
Traveling with no
indeed.
kids is a beautiful thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so easy. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's always amazing, right? When all you have to do is put a backpack on your shoulder and go, it's pretty great.
yeah, it's so cool. I love it.
Well, I do hope that we will one day meet in person at a conference. That would be
It would
fun.
be. You could come in Fabric February, that would be cool as well. Go to
I
Fabric
wish I
February
was.
and
That
then
would be
Fabric
so fun.
Vegas. There you go. There we go.
Hmm.
But yes, I'm sure at some point we shall see each other in person, and yeah, it will be cool. This was also very
That would
nice,
be
by
great.
the way. Thank you so much for
Thank you
joining.
so much for
Yeah,
inviting me. This was fun.
absolutely. I really enjoyed it. And everyone who asked all the questions and all the comments in the chat always makes it much better as well. So thank you everyone for joining. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm back next week. I can never remember who because my memory is just pretty terrible. But I'm back next week. I think it's the last one before Christmas. I might do one on the 21st, but it's cutting it a bit fine, to be honest. Also, yes, have a lovely Christmas, Stephanie. I
Thank
hope you
you.
have
You
a
too.
lovely time, and I hope you have lots of snow and good food.
You
And
too. I wish you would get some so that you could go cross country skiing.
yes, thank you so much. Cool.
All
Thank you, everyone.
right.
Thanks, Stephanie. Cheers. Bye
Thanks,
bye.
everyone.